Well, greetings, Series 7 test-taking weekend warriors. This is the Series 7 guru coming to you from my studio here in fabulous Las Vegas with another explication, a request for a question to go over. It looks like I got a typo. Which of the following would protect short May 50 put? So, the three styles of questions you get on your exam are recognition, like when do options expire? Practical application, like, what's the break even? And then judgment question. Judgment questions, I think, are the hardest types of questions. And this is certainly a judgment question. So, about 10% of your exam are judgment questions. Those are ones where you just can't kind of memorize them. So I think the first thing to start is, I always say, recommend to test takers, is get really comfortable with contract specifications. I'm hoping that at some point you can look at that contract and say, okay, that is an obligation to buy the stock. In this case, I didn't put in the stock. What is it? It doesn't have the stock. Obligation to buy the stock, XYZ, whatever the case may be, at the strike price. XP means strike price, and the strike price here is 50. So I like to put that underneath the options leg so I can see what I'm looking at, because that might be helpful for me to make my analysis here. So I have an obligation to buy the stock at 50, so that's going to be $5,000. And the worst case is I'm going to be paying $5,000, assuming it's one contract, so it is, for worthless stock. So what I'm interested in being able to do is offset my obligation to buy with a choice to sell. Now, what's challenging here, again, we're hoping that you're not struggling with what this is. This is a choice. I'm trying to offset my obligation to buy with a choice to sell. And here I have a choice to sell the stock at any time between now and expiration at the strike price. And in this case, the strike price is 55. Yeah, let's get this on there. And so if I'm looking at this position here, and I say, okay, so if somebody sticks it to me at 50, because I have an obligation to buy its stock at 50, and I stick it to the next guy at 55, yeah, I think that would be pleasurable, profitable, and I would have some protection there. That 50 put is not going to blow up in my face. So that looks pretty good. Now, let me check the expiration here, because I don't want to be, partially exposed. So I'm checking the expiration. I say, okay, well, yeah, June. So I got a choice to sell at a higher price, which is cool. Somebody sticks it to me. I'm the put E at 50. I'm the put at 55. And I have a June contract, so I'm still going to have that after expiration in May. So that looks pretty good. Let's look at our next one here. So let me get a different color here. Our next one is a choice to sell, and that's okay. Choice to sell at any time between now and expiration. And between now and expiration, American style. But I already see a problem here. And the problem I see is that this is April. And so that means, in April, if the 55 put expires, I'm still obliged on the May, that I'm going to have a potential problem there. And so that doesn't look as good as a protection. Remember, you get tested on the best answer. So, I'm allowed to use wrong answers as distractors. So what I mean by that is we're supposed to pick out the best answer. And the reason this one fails as the best answer is because it's April as compared to June. Let me get a different color. So again, this is a tough one. This is let me get a little better color there so we can kind of see it a little better. And so far, A is the winner here in terms of protection. Two things that make this the better choice so far is it's a tie when it comes to the strike, but the expiration is June, and April means I could be hanging in the wind on a uncovered naked put for a month. So that's why that one's not good. All right, let's see. By the way, we can kind of look at this one and say same thing, right? The problem there is the expiration and the strike. So what I mean by that is now I have a problem with this one with both the expiration being April when the short obligation goes till May. So I got a problem with the expiration and the strike. XP means strike price. Right, because now if somebody sticks it to me at 50 and I stick it to the next guy at 45, I'm a loser. It's a definable number that I can lose, except remember, once April expires, then I'm still hanging in the wind. So C loses on two fronts. It loses in terms of not being the best answer, most protection, because it has an expiration before May and it has a lower strike. A choice to sell at a higher strike is always going to be better protection. All right, let's look at our last one. It looks like I forgot to put the TM put there, but this has the right expiration. What I mean by the right expiration is it's got June, and the contract I have is May. So that's cool. I don't end up in a situation where I'm hanging in the wind on my obligation in May because it's June. But where it fails is the strike price. So boom, there's where it fails, right? This one ends up being still the best one because it's June and a choice to sell at a higher strike. So again, I think this one was very tough. I don't know what to tell you about when you get tough ones. What I'm telling you is that, maybe you just realize you're going to get some judgment questions like this one. This one is really a judgment question, pretty tough. But the answer is A. If I'm short a put, the best protection would be for me to have a put with a higher strike price and same or longer expiration. Because what that means is that I can sell the stock without losing any money. By the way, maybe where you went down the road here is what I'm creating is a debit put spread when I do A, right? The 55 put and longer term options have greater premiums, and so does the higher strike. But, that had nothing to do with answering the question. By the way, this was Kaplan QID. QID 126. If you're using a Kaplan Q Bank, if you don't have a Kaplan Q Bank, I highly recommend it as a paid supplement. With my Guru 10 discount code at checkout for all Kaplan products and services, you can get a Kaplan Q Bank for about $60. I would also highly recommend the quick sheets. So here's an example of a quick sheet. Let me show you what the quick sheets look like. I'll change my camera so you can see a little better. So here is the Kaplan quick sheets. Kaplan has these available for each of the exams, and you can get that with my discount code for about, I think comes in at $16. So I'd recommend both of those to you. Remember, inch by inch, series 7 is a cinch, yard by yard, series 7 is hard. And I have a couple more requests, so I'll dole them out over the weekend. So you'll be getting these little vignettes throughout the weekend. With you in spirit, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.